Hey noobs, Mr. Frog here. For many years now, game studios have attempted to recreate the massive success of the Super Smash fighting game series. While many of them may look and feel similar, none have ever been able to capture that same spark. However, could H-content have been the missing ingredient all along? Let's find out, as today we will be taking a look at Smash Girls, a new brawler fighting game developed by 18-Bit Studio and published by Mango Party. The game takes place in a version of Tokyo, where 4 powerful gangs are currently fighting for domination. The leader of the gang, Kyo Kakai, suddenly goes missing though, leading to an open power vacuum in the city. The remaining members of the Kyo Kakai, a penguin and a mysterious girl, decide to kidnap Sosuke, the son of the previous leader, and encourage him to take the lead in restoring the gang. Having no knowledge of his father's life in the underworld, he initially declines this request, but with the promise of a high salary and benefits, eventually agrees. Thus, you immediately get to work in learning the ropes on how to run the gang, and taking back their previous territory. As you progress, you will learn more about the other rival gangs, as well as their beautiful members, while also uncovering the mysterious past of your father. The game has a decent amount of story content and plenty of visual novel style scenes to keep you engaged in between the combat sections. The story doesn't take itself too seriously, and is more on the comical and lighthearted side, but it does have its occasional more endearing moments. The writing is nothing outstanding, and can feel a bit rushed at times, but it is cute and entertaining enough in between combat and H scenes. In addition to the main story, the game will occasionally branch off into additional side story segments as well, where you get to spend some time with the members of the other gangs, as well as other surprises such as Mango Party's mascot character Mango, and Zhao from the original Kaiju Princess. As for the gameplay, it is mostly your standard brawler-style fighting game, where you can choose from several different fighters, all with their own unique movesets. There are 6 characters in total, with 2 of them being more like bonus characters unlocked towards the end of the story mode. The game has both keyboard and controller support, with the controller option obviously offering the more traditional fighting game experience. Regardless of which option you choose though, it will require both hands to play, which unfortunately makes the game not fully one-hand playable. From the main menu, you can choose from several different game modes, such as Story, Challenge, Versus, and Training. In Story mode, you will proceed through various stages that alternate between story and battle segments. Battle stages will have different win conditions depending on what is happening within the story, such as defeating all enemies, or simply just surviving long enough. As for the combat itself, I have to admit the controls are definitely a bit stiff and clunky. Attack options are also pretty limited, with most characters having just a normal attack, a special attack, and a few directional attacks to choose from. The game does feature a decent block and parrying system as well that can be fun to master, but there is overall a noticeable lack of depth to the combat. Some characters feel a bit better to play than others, with Chica probably being one of the more frustrating characters to play due to the focus on her throwing attacks. Other characters are a bit more creative, such as Zhao, who summons her signature Kaiju to attack on her behalf, which is both cute and fun to use. The only downside is that it has a fairly unreliable AI, which is honestly also a problem with the enemy bots as well. Oftentimes, enemies will simply stand still doing nothing, and even worse, occasionally will jump out of bounds all on their own. On a more positive note, I will say one of the better done aspects would probably be the boss fight stages. These boss fights don't really rely on AI as much, and instead focus on avoiding specific attack patterns and exploiting damage window openings. These fights definitely feel a bit more creative than some of the other normal battles, and feel more fully fleshed out. The animation and pixel artwork for the stages and fights definitely stand out as well, and make for a more memorable and enjoyable experience. Once you have completed the main story for the game, you will then unlock an additional challenge mode. This mode is basically just a gauntlet of a series of random battles that eventually culminates in a boss fight. It's pretty much just more of the same content from the story mode, but it does offer some extra challenging content for those looking for more. The game also does have a versus mode where you can locally battle other players, but due to the lack of an online mode, it may be difficult to convince your IRL friends to sit down and play this one with you, especially when considering the real content of this game, the H content. The H content in Smash Girls is the one area where the game truly shines. The game contains a total of 16 animated and voice-acted H scenes. They do not contain any gameplay, but some of them do have visual options that can be unlocked after completing the challenge mode. The animation and artwork quality is top-notch, and I do think makes up for the somewhat shallow gameplay. Each of the 4 main heroines will have a few scenes each, but unfortunately there are no scenes featuring either Mengo or Xiao, which is a bit disappointing to see. The majority of the scenes are unlocked in between stages throughout the story and come at a good pace, but there are a few obtained on defeat. Now, for those who are not fans of scenes on defeat though, I will say that these are the minority, and the game does not have a major focus on that type of content. Overall, I think if the H content is primarily what you are interested in, then I think you will more than likely be satisfied with what you receive here. While Smash Girls may not be the most innovative or groundbreaking game, it does offer a decently enjoyable experience despite its flaws. The gameplay is definitely a bit underbaked, but its charming character design and illustrations deliver when needed. It is certainly not going to offer a highly technical or complex fighting system that you will want to spend hundreds of hours devoting yourself to mastering, but it is not really a bad game for a quick play over the weekend. I would say the real make or break would probably be your level of interest in its art and character designs, and whether or not you feel it is enough to compensate for a somewhat clunky combat system. With that being said, Mr. Frog awards this game a decent Mr. Frog sip. Have you played this game? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you'd like to see more H-Game content, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure to check out the Mr. Frog stream over on Twitch. Later, noobs.